Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Budget Magic, and we got a super sweet one this week. We're heading to Modern to play 12 Shadows, the dash shadowiest, life lossiest deck I think I've ever built. So as you can see, 101 bucks in paper, 48 ticks on Magic Online, and the deck is, it's just really epic. So let's talk about the deck, jump into some games, see it in action. So we are built around all the Death Shadows. We have, of course, literal Death Shadow, but also Shatter Immortality, Scourge of the Skyclaves. These are all creatures that can be massive for just 1 or 2 mana, but they require us to beat a really low life total to work. So the idea of our deck is we're hoping to lose a lot of life really fast. And of course, we are a budget deck, so we can't lose life like the tier Death Shadow decks, which is like, oh, fetch, get a shockland, lose a little here or there, get down to 11, play my Death Shadow, wait for it to grow. No. Our mana base is 16 swamps, some Castle Lock Winch, which do help us lose life, but our main plan for losing life is to do it all at once really quickly on turn 1 or turn 2. We have Hex, Parasite, and Spellskite. These are phyrexian mana creatures that we can activate their phyrexian mana ability any amount of times. As long as there's a spell in the stack for Spellskite or an ability on the stack, as long as there's any permanent on the battlefield for Hex Parasite, including itself, we can just take and activate their abilities again and again. So either one of these creatures, all by themselves, can take us from 20 life down to 2 life as early as turn 1 or turn 2. And then we also have Plunge into Darkness, which just lets us pay any amount of life to dig that far deep in our library and grab a card. So these cards can get us down to 1 life very early in the game, and that supercharges all of our Death Shadow creatures. We can have 12 Death Shadows coming down on turn 2. We can have massive 7/7 Shadow Mortalities coming down on turn 2, and that's the goal of the deck. We also have Street Wraith, which is kind of just okay in the deck. It does lose life, it cycles, but it's kind of just filler. Then we have a bunch of removal. Dismembers helps us lose life. Blood Chief's Thirst for more removal, some discard spells. In the sideboard, a bunch of targeted hate, some more removal, and that is 12 Shadow. In this deck, it's really sweet. So I'm gonna not even ramble. I'm not gonna say anything more. We're just gonna jump into some games, see it in action. I think you're gonna like this one. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Looking to pick up some sweet Double Masters 2022 reprints while prices are cheap? Well, you can snag them all from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, by heading over to cardkingdom.com/MTG Goldfish. Budget Magic time. We are playing 12 Shadow in Modern, all in on the Death Shadows, In this hand, it's got no Death Shadows, but Plunge to Darkness can find one. And we got removal and Inquisition. I think this is fine. Opponent, Misty Rainforest. Ooh, there's a Death Shadow. All right, so Inquisition, Elementals, eh? Well, I mean, I guess we're taking a Risen Reef. Risen Reef down. Opponent, corrects the Misty Rainforest. Steam Vents, sure. So what we can do is, next turn, we can plunge, maybe all the way to 1 life, and hopefully find another Death Shadow. Glimpse Elementals. Okay, that's a legit clock. So now we have to win before Glimpse comes down. If Glimpse comes down, we probably lose. So pass the turn, end step plunge. Are we really gonna go to 1? Is that, I mean, I guess you don't play Death Shadow and then be afraid of spending all your life. Opponent, Risen Reef, sure. Draws a card, Colony Garden, sure. Well, I mean, here we go. Plunge, and I think we do it. Spend 19 life, find a Death Shadow, cross our fingers, pray to the magic gods that we don't get Glimpse. This could be fast enough. Going down to 1. I mean, in 19 cards, we should find another Death Shadow. It is unlikely that we don't. Yeah, all right, there's a Death Shadow. So, yeah, I mean, take the Death Shadow, untap two 12/12s, hope that can raise Glimpse. All right, three 12/12s. This is 3 12/12 Death Shadows on turn 3. If this is not enough to win, I mean, what more can we do? What more can our $100 budget deck do than present 3 12/12s on turn 3? I mean, I think we race Glimpse. So opponent needs 1 more turn after this to get Glimpse. So we need to get in with 2 Death Shadows. We have removal, so we can kill the token, swing, win. Okay, another plant. Well, we have 2 removals, but they have something else. Opponent, Shardless Agent, so that's a Glimpse. Now we're all right, now we're literally dead. This Omnath is actually lethal. We just get burnt out by the landfall triggers. Okay, well, Sometimes you assemble Shadowtron and it's not enough. That was literal Death Shadowtron. 3 of them on turn 2. They were all fully powered. Well, Void Mirror is good. Void Mirror means our opponent can't cascade into Glimpse, so that's coming in. Bloodchief's Thirst is pretty bad. Because our opponent's a Cascade deck, they can't play any 0/1s or 2s. So that means we're either going to kill tokens or have to kick it. Infernal Grasp is probably better. Can go down the Duress, go up. Ratchet Bomb can get rid of the plants, which that would have been, I mean, we still would have lost to the Omnath, but it would have been relevant. Got to cut one more of something. Probably go down to life loss. Maybe like a Hex Parasite's fine. Running that. Well, I mean, so bad news is we lost. Good news is our deck did a pretty absurd thing. And I think if we keep doing that thing, we should be able to win games from that eventually. Ooh, oh, this is even better. This is 2 Death Shadows on turn 2. Oh boy, this is like the dream. All right, so Hex Parasite. Go. So Hex Parasite, the trick of Hex Parasite is you don't actually have to have a counter on something to activate it. So what Hex Parasite really is 1 mana 1/1, lose as much life as you want in increments of 2. Because we can just like keep targeting a land or whatever. So we're gonna go down to 12, so we can play our Death Shadows. And then we can always lose more instant speed. And it has some upsides against like Urza Saga or whatever. All right, so Death Shadow or Planeswalkers. Hex Parasite can just straight up kill Planeswalker, Death Shadow. All right, so this is 2 Death Shadows on turn 2. We can go down to 2 life. I mean, we got to get through the plants, so we still need a couple turns, but hopefully this will work. All right, plant number 2. So many plants. Our opponent's really good at drawing Colony Garden. All right, untap. Oh my god, that's Ratchet Bomb. Do we win? I think we win now. All right, Inquisition, do the hand check. But I mean, I think we just Ratchet Bomb the plans and go down to 2 and Death Shadow turn 3 kill. Yeah, none of that stuff does anything. We don't really care about Endurance because it's gonna die. Yeah, all right, Ratchet Bomb, Wrath of Plans, spend her life, swing with the Death Shadows, and yeah, that is that is a legit turn 3 kill. Legit turn 3 kill in modern $100 budget. All right, that was good. Let's do that one more time. Run it back. Actually, Hex Parasite was really good there. Can we get the last Hex Parasite in? Maybe yeah, let's go down to Spellskite. Our opponent doesn't really have removal, so Spellskite's not protecting anything, and Hex Parasite, as we saw there, is just faster. Well, all right, on to game 3. So opponent's on the play. We got to not get glimpsed. Well, bad news is we have 1,000,000 Hex Parasites, more than we'll ever need. Good news is we do have Void Mirror. That is our best sideboard card at shutting down our opponent's combo. Oh, 1 land, 1 keep. I think Void Mirror is good enough that we got to keep it just for Void Mirror. I think our ways of winning, we either get the draw like last game where we just kill our opponent on like turn 3, or we have to stop the glimpse, and Void Mirror is the only card that does it. Oh, it's so close. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. We'll see. I might end up getting yelled at for this one, but we will see. I mean, we need to hit a land, but we get a redraw, and we can plunge to find Death Shadows. Call the Garden of opponents actually plant tribal. sneaky plant tribal. Well, Hex Parasite, yo. Land is good. That does mean we get to play our Void Mirror for sure, which was the whole reason to keep this hand. Wow, that's aggressive. I mean, okay. Fury to get rid of our Hex Parasite. Jeez. Okay. We are super fine with our opponent spending 2 cards to get rid of a Hex Parasite. I do think, as much as we'd like to like plunge for Death Shadow, I do think we probably got a Void Mirror. Like even a mini glimpse next turn could be bad. So get down Void Mirror. Next turn, we should be able to start getting stuff down. Well, okay. So this is good for now. Although these glimpse decks are, I think, prepared for like Chalice and Void Mirrors. They should have answers. So we still got to try to be fast because they will draw an answer eventually. Ooh, Season Pyromancer. All right. Do some filtering. Draw some cards. So Scourge of the Skyclaves is fine, although it's not going to get super big until we hit our opponent. Let's Hex Parasite. And I guess run out Scourge. It is big enough to block our opponent's board at least. We can make it a 3/3. Opponent untaps. So many Colony Gardens. I swear our opponent is the master of the plants, plant master. I mean, Straight Wraith is a redraw, that's fine. We can plunge for a Death Shadow. Let's cycle first into a land. And let's play the Spellskite. And then I think we just plunge at the end of our opponent's turn. Do we attack? It feels so bad. The problem is we don't really have a realistic way of growing the Scourge yet, but I really don't want to trade it for Seasoned Pyromancer on a token, especially since when the Pyromancer dies, it's just going to make more tokens. All right, opponent, fetch land. Our opponent continuing to fetch lands is good. That does lower their life total. Let's plunge. I don't know how far we want to go, though. We can lose life at any time, so we don't need to go too deep. Let's just go like 5. See if we can find... all right, there's a Death Shadow. That is good. Oh, we have them all. There's a Shadow Mortality. Okay, our 12 shadows are paying off. Well, now we got to lose some life. We got to get to 7 for Shadow. This is pretty big because the Shadow and the, well, Shadow, I guess, are going to let us grow the Scourge of the Skyclaves eventually once they get in. So yeah, I think we just dump our hand. So we go to 7. Shadow Mortality, 2 mana 7/7. Death Shadow, 1 mana 6/6. Hex Parasite number 3, and go. I wonder if our opponent's regretting that. Turn 2 Furia Hex Parasite. No attacks. Next turn we get to start attacking. Opponent gonna crack, grow our Shadow. Well, I mean, we just gotta kill our opponent before they find a way to get rid of the Void Mirror, really. I don't think they can beat us. I don't think they can beat us without casting a Glimpse. So get in with everything. If our opponent wants to put everything in front of Shadow, we'll accept that. All right, block, 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 sure. I mean, opponent's just in like chump block mode. We get to draw with Castle Lockwayne. Dismember, okay. Well, that'll be good at some point, perhaps. I mean, worst case, even just killing a token's not that. Boy, Ratchet Bomb would be game. Ratchet Bomb would be game. Opponent untaps. Is this the turn they draw an answer? Okay, elemental of some kind. Ooh, Omnath. All right, that's a good one. That is a good one. Do we have to go to 2 to dismember this? The problem is, if they go Omnath land, they gain 4 and it kills our Scourge. And we kind of want that to continue to live. How do we get punished from going to 2? I guess Omnath all the modes. But if they Glimpse, we're going to lose anyway. They got a million permanents. I think we do it. Let's dismember. Down to 2. The bigger downside of this might be that it's going to shut off our Castle Lockwayne. Only one more card may be drawn. Well, kill it. Opponent. Oh, had the land. Yeah, I think that worked out. Opponent passes. We draw a swamp. We play the swamp. Castle Lockwayne. Into... Wow. That's every Hex Parasite. We found them all. Well, big attack. Opponent blocks, blocks, blocks. Well, you might as well run out the Hex Parasite. Well, 1 life is where we want to be. That's where our stuff is most powerful. Come on. No answer to the Void Mirror. Hold, hold, hold. Suspends a Glimpse. Well, that doesn't work with the Void Mirror out anyway. Opponent passes. Untaps. Well, go to combat. Swing with everything. I mean, I feel like we're getting... Oh, Endurance. That's fine. That is fine. So opponent can flash an Endurance. It doesn't have to chump block, but we'll see. Opponent gonna block the Death Shadow, gonna block Shadow Mortality. Well, this is it. Opponent needs to do something this turn, or our 12 shadows are gonna get the job done. Hold, hold, hold. About it. Taking down the glyphs. Do they find... I don't even know what they could find here. They need like a Wrath? Wave Sifter, sure. That doesn't matter. I mean, that's redraws. That is redraws. But what can they draw into? I don't think there's anything they can actually draw into here. Opponent draws and scoops it up. Oh my goodness, it worked. Whoo! Okay, that was sweet. That was super sweet. Budget Magic time. We are playing 12 Shadow in Modern up against, looks like a Yarion pile. Well, we'll see. Can all the Death Shadows in the world overcome? Well, okay, we got a Death Shadow and some ways to lose life. Looks like turn 3 Death Shadow, most likely. I mean, we probably cycle the Street Wraith. Could hit something that speeds it up. All right, Dismember. Schwamp Goo. Opponent. Overgrown Tomb untapped. Arboreal Grazer. Puts a land into play. Well, play the land. Play Spellskite. Pass the turn. Opponent. Misty Rainforest. Cracks it. Steam Vents, untapped. This is like Niv to Fairy. Yeah, that's an annoying magic card. To Fairy. Takes down on the Spellskite and passes. Now, Castle Lockwayne. Plunge into Darkness. Down to 7. Take a Death Shadow. Play a Death Shadow. Pass the turn. Opponent taking up Teferi. Yeah, I kind of wish we had to rest that Teferi now. Opponent red in 6. All right, adding to the pile of annoyingness, gets back the land, plays a land, and passes. Well, okay, duress, Omnath, bring to light, Cabal, culling ritual. Well, we gotta take bring to light. Go to combat, attack our opponent. Opponent blocks. Shadow mortality, go. Gonna be close, gonna be close. So the culling ritual can kill our dash shadow. It also gets rid of the red. All right, opponent just goes with Omnath. Well, we can kill the Omnath, so this is kind of okay. Unless our opponent top decks something. Takes up Teferi. Land, gains some life, cracks the land, gets a Triome, makes some mana, gets back a land, gets Yarion. So opponent's not, wait, is opponent dead? Can we kill our opponent here? So we play the swamp, dismember, spellskite, inquisition, spellskite the inquisition, whiff, kill. Opponent played the biggest money pile, and it wasn't nearly enough to overcome the shadows. Wow, that was so good. I can't believe we got there. I cannot believe we got there. Opponent played Omnath, Teferi, Ren. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. The Death Shadows did not care. Oh, that was real good. How do we stop this deck though? That is the second question. How do we stop it? So, I mean, Duress is probably in. Inquisition's actually a little hit or miss, isn't it? We can probably go down like a Street Wraith, maybe we got an all Street Wraith. Street Wraith isn't that good in our deck because we're not really built around incidental life loss. We're built around Hex Parasite, go to 1, Plunge, go to 1, rather than like a little here, a little there, because we don't have fetch land, so we don't really have the option to play like the slow and steady plan that other Death Shadow decks play. Yeah, I think we mulligan this. Hex Parasite's good, but the rest of the stuff doesn't do anything. All right, we'll keep this. We'll put a Dismember. Dismember, Bloodchief's Thirst. Dismember is better against Omnath. Bloodchief's Thirst, though, can kill a Planeswalker for 1,000,000 mana, but still. And Dismember to the bottom. Let's see it, money pile. Let's see it. Verdant Catacombs. But it passes. Land and Hex Parasite. I mean, double Shadow Mortality is kind of sweet. Scourge of the Skyclave is going to be a little sketchy against Omnath. Opponent cracks. Gets a Triome. Tab land. Passes. Play the land. Lose some life. So I guess we're going to 6 to play the Shadow. Yeah, down to 16. Down to 14. 12. 10. I mean, they can potentially Teferi bounce, which is annoying. Although I do like that Shadow Mortality gets around some of the removal. All right, down to 6. Go to combat, get in with Hex Parasite. The funny thing about this deck is if we could just choose to start with like 7 life, we would. I think we would. If there was a rule that you could just start at negative 13 life, I think our deck would probably choose that. I mean, I guess we'd never beat Burn in 1,000,000 years. So maybe that'd be bad overall, but in a lot of matchups, like we're playing a lot of cards essentially to do that. Which is just so different than most Magic decks. Well, hit you for 1. Opponent goes to 18, and we will Shadow Mortality. Go. Opponent. Misty Rainforest. Cracks it. Steam Vents. Untap down to 15. Feels like a Teferi. Dreadbore. Okay. So this is definitely a Niv deck. Wouldn't mind a land here. Spellskite. Well, that's not quite a land. Hit you with the Hex Parasite. Yeah, 1 more land would be super helpful. Shadow Mortality. All right. Veil of Summer to draw a card. Land. Okay, there's the Teferi. Yeah, all this, boy, if we could be getting down the Spellskite, it would be so much better. Teferi bounces, passes, land, no land. Well, go to combat, attack Teferi. Dash Shadow. They could definitely have a sweeper, which would be annoying. Dash Shadow. I mean, we've played a ton of shadows. Our opponents just killed a bunch of them. Yeah, if we could get down the Spellskite, if we had drawn an extra land to get on the Spellskite for protection, it would have been so nice. Gets a forest. More Veil of Summers, cycles Veil of Summer, untaps. I mean, opponent really needs a Wrath. They need a Culling Ritual, they need a Supreme Verdict, Windswept Teeth, cracks it. 5 mana, oh, Bring to Light for a Wrath. Bring to Light. So opponent gets their Wrath. Yeah, this is bad for us for sure. Culling Ritual, Wraths, gets Yarion. Oh, then it passes. Plunge into Darkness. Well, we will play Shadow Immortality. Go. Hi! Cannot hit land number 3 here. Opponents played Infinite Removal, and we're still in not horrible shape. Just like, our deck's really good at putting big thing into big thing on the battlefield. Whether or not it's going to lead to us winning this game, not sure. That Culling Ritual was pretty good. Oh, Jesus. Teferi, part 20. Yeah, I think if we had hit the land so we could have played Spellskite, we'd be in a much, much, much different position. Arboreal Grazer puts another land into play. Hallowed Fountain. Opponent passes. Well, we finally draw land, but it's too late to actually really matter. Shadow of Mortality, again. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Yeah, I don't know if we win the late game against what our opponent's doing. Takes up Teferi. Oh, geez. All right, so opponent, they found all their payoffs this game. They got the Bring to Light. They got the Niv. They hit another Bring to Light and a Supreme Verdict. Yeah, I think our opponents just won this one. Opponent has Assassin's Trophy. We get a land. For want of a Spellskite. Yeah, the problem is, so now just to stay alive, we have to try to kill the Niv with the Bloodchief's Thirst, which is our entire turn. So we don't get to, now we're hitting the lands. Oh, we needed them earlier though. Yeah, this was interesting. Well, we killed that past the turn. But I think we're just past the point of being competitive now that our opponent got the Niv down. We really want to win more quickly against this deck because their late game is just so absurd. Opponent, not going to bother to cast anything. Okay, passes. Well, now we're drawing all the lands, quite literally. Spellskite, Scourge of the Skyclaves, Plunge into Darkness, get another Scourge of the Skyclaves, pass the turn. What are they doing at instant speed? I feel like if we can get a fast start and cast a discard spell or two, this is a matchup where Thoughtseize, yeah, all right. This is a matchup where Thoughtseize would really, really, really change things. I think that's the biggest budget loss of this deck is just not having access to that in specific. We're trying to piece it together, but you can see in a lot of matchups, Duress plus Inquisition's fine. In some matchups, it's even optimal. In this matchup, not getting Niv, not getting Omnath is actually like a pretty big drawback. Well, all right, we're on the play for game 3. This is the kind of hand we want to see. This is pretty fast on the play. Hex Parasite, double Death Shadow on turn 2. Hopefully that means our opponent's just dead before they can start wrathing and casting their bonkers stuff. All right, Hex Parasite, go. Opponent taps. I mean, this could just be the turn 3 kill. Beseiju. Abundant Growth to draw a card. Sure. Opponent passes. Play the Swamp. Do our Hex Parasite shenanigans. Remove a counter, even though there's no counters, down. I mean, I guess we only technically have to go to 12 this time. So down to 12, Dash Shadow. Hit you with the Hex Parasite. And I mean, technically this is lethal next turn. Let's see what they got. Opponent needs removal for at least one of them. Verdant Catacombs. Opponent passes. Now play the land. Go to combat. Attack with everything. Remove a counter. And opponent scoops it up! Money pile. No match for the 12 shadows. All you gotta do is kill him on turn 3. That's it. That's all you gotta do. This start is like super devastating. Turn 1 Hex Parasite into Death Shadow is like kinda bonkers. And the funny thing is, even if our opponent had removal here, we like hit our opponent for a ton, and then we still play Shadow Mortality, and then we untap, we have Bloodchief Thirst for next turn if there's a blocker. So even if we didn't win right here, we're still pretty likely to win long term. Oh, so good. 12 shadows. Sweet. Budget Magic time. We are playing 12 Shadow in Modern. And do we keep this? We have no shadows. I think we mulligan. This is ideal. Okay, we will keep this for sure. Wow, this draw's so good when it happens. Turn 1 Hex Parasite, turn 2 Double Death Shadow. Usually pretty effective. Hex Parasite, go. About it. Untaps. Black Cleave Cliffs. And Inquisition. Alright, well, looks like only one Death Shadow, unfortunately. For now. Takes Dismember? I don't know if our opponent understands what is about to happen to them. We'll play a Swamp. I mean, maybe they just have so much creature removal they don't care. So Hex Parasite a few times. Yeah, I wonder if our opponent realized we can play both these Death Shadows. Remove counter. I mean, they could just have a bunch of Fatal Pushes or something. All right, so go down to 12. Double Death Shadow. Well, now we hope we draw more shadows, basically. Death Shadow, Death Shadow. Hit you for 1. Pass the turn. About an taps. All right, no removal. Blood Crypt. Tapped. Oh, opponent, they left themselves dead. Wow. Okay, yeah. Oh, these choices might not have been absolutely perfect for our opponent, but we're doing something really weird that no one else does, so I can understand. Wow, but Death Shadow definitely would be the better target here. I think we got him. The funny thing is our opponent could have dealt with literally both of our Death Shadows. They could have Inquisition one, and then they could have Fatal Push one. Instead, they Inquisition the Dismember and Fatal Push the Hex Parasite, and yeah, that's a win. That's a win. So, opponent's playing Rakdos. I feel like Rakdos might actually be a tricky matchup. I feel like it might actually be a tricky matchup just because they have a lot of removal, but maybe we'll draw our Spellskite. Or maybe we just keep doing that. Turn 1, Hex Parasite into turn 2 double Death Shadow is apparently good enough to beat a lot of decks. All right, opponent's on the play for game number 2. This deck has been shockingly effective for a $100 deck. All right, I like this. Little slower, but we got the Spellskite for protection, which is good. We'll see. Opponent probably has a bunch of discard. It sees. Well, I mean, if they want to take our Street Wraith, I think that's fine. Did our opponent learn that the correct choice is Death Shadow? No, still no. Okay, well, opponent insists on playing this matchup their way, which I can respect. I don't know if the way they're playing it is correct, but I can respect. They're taking their own path. Hex Parasite go. This does mean that if we want to, we can get down Death Shadow next turn, although I don't know if it's better than playing Spellskite first against Rakdos. Untap land, put her down to 16. Fatal Push. Yeah, it's fine. I think we'll just wait in Spellskite. Ragavan. So if our opponent can kill the Spellskite, then I guess they can get in with the Ragavan. Opponent's only got 3 cards in hand. All right, we untap. Well, Cycle Street Wraith into removal. Oh, more lands. All right, Cycle Street Wraith. Removal or shadows, please. Blood Chief's Thirst. Well, we will kill the Ragavan. Play the Swamp. Pass the turn. So this does let us play our stuff next turn if we don't get Thought Seized again. Do the Voidwalker. Go Death Shadows. We'll see if it works. Ugh, more swamps. So we've done a lot of swamps. So we play Spellskite. Then we play Death Shadow. Spellskite it a few times. How far do we go? So it's a 3/3 that gets bolted. A 5/5. I think that's it. So get down the Death Shadow. Although this Voidwalker, we've kind of flooded out here. So it might be that our opponent can just win the race with this Voidwalker opponent. Untaps. This deck has some sweet lines. Like Death Shadow with a ton of life, activate Spellskite is, it's just cool. I like this deck. Fury, pitching a bolt to kill the Spellskite. I mean, I guess if they can, like, Undying Evil it or something, that's a problem. So Fury down. Opponent. Oh, another Voidwalker. All right, so we got a top deck removal. Now or never. Yeah, opponent hits us. We're literally dead on board if we don't top deck removal. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. We need a removal spell. Oh, Shadow. Shadow's sweet, but we're too far behind here. That game, we drew 5 lands and our opponent drew 2 lands. I think that was basically the difference. Maybe we bring in one more Infernal Grasp, go down to the Street Wraith. Yeah, let's just run it like that. That's fine. We're on the play, which is big. Hopefully that means we can stick something before. So bonus use Modern Horizons 2 Tribal. Our poor little $100 12 Shadow deck. Oh, no way to lose life. Against the most broken set in the history of Magic. I mean, I think we have to keep this, although we really need to draw a land to have a realistic shot here. If we draw a land, this hand's pretty sweet. If we don't draw a land, this hand's pretty sketch. Very sketch. Well, Swamp and Hex Parasite. Go. Opponent untaps. I mean, I guess we have 2 removal spells we can cast with 1 mana. Urborg and Inquisition. Well, I mean, if we draw a land, we just get to play Shadow Mortality, which would be sweet. Opponent takes the Spell Sky. All right, deck. All right, land. Untap land. Untap land. Untap land. Dismember. All right, well, I mean, our opponent's stuff is not going to live, which is good. But we might not cast anything, which is less good. Opponent untaps. The real question is going to be if our opponent goes to kill this Hex Parasite, do we lose a bunch of life in response? Down to 17. Raga Von. Well, I mean, we wanted to lose life anyway, so dismember you. I feel like our opponent, they knew about a dismember, so they might have double Ragavan. Like, they had to know that one was likely to die. And land. Land, please? No. Okay. Might be one of those matches where if we could have mixed our last 2 draws together, we'd be in much better shape. Last game, we drew all the lands. This game, not finding any. Prismatic Vesta. Opponent cracks it. Hidetsugu consumes all. Well, yep. What happens if we remove the counter? Well, I mean, I guess we can find out. All right, so it enters the battlefield. So it puts a trigger on the stack, so I feel like this is going to work either way, right? So remove a counter. Yeah, I mean, I think we got to do this. Painful, painful, painful. We got to get low enough to cast Shadow Mortality, right? I think. Remove a counter. Remove a counter. Yeah, not feeling super great. We'll see. So we go to 6. We lose our Hex Parasite. Opponent passes. We draw. Well, there's the land. I'm just not sure it's fast enough. Turn 4 is pretty slow. Opponent untaps. Takes up the Saga. Opponent has hard removal and terminate. Okay. Opponent plays a land. Passes. Well, we'll play Shadow Mortality. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Nukes the graveyards. Now, are we done killing our stuff, opponent? Are we done? Proxa. It's a little bit of a non-bow with Hidetsugu. Discard Bloodchief's Thirst. Well, even with Revolt, not going to be Fatal Pushing or Shadow Mortality, I don't think. Opponent passes. Go to combat. Attack you. Opponent down to 8. Scourge of the Skyclaves. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Flips the side. Is there a chance? Is there a chance we're going to get this? Oh, we did it! Yes! Oh, it keeps working. Oh, this might be the best modern budget deck we've built in a while. Wow. The power of all the Death Shadows. You combine it together and apparently you can beat anyone. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Budget magic time. We are playing some 12 Shadow in Modern. I mean, technically only 1 land, but double Street Race should find us one. And then we got ways to lose life, ways to find Death Shadows. Seems fine. Not bad, not bad. And an Inquisition. See what our opponent's doing. Sea and Sky. Sounds like blue. Yeah, oh, are they actually Merfolk? That sounds like a Merfolk player name. Well, Swamp. Inquisition you. Wow, okay, sure. Spell Pierce in the main deck. Untaps. Definitely Merfolk. Spreading Seas is pretty bad news. Silvergill Adept revealing a Trickster. So opponent had to get their card draw going, apparently. Well, let's see what we find. We do need a land for sure. Plunge. Well, Cycle Street Wraith. Oh no, Cycle Street Wraith. Okay, Castle Lockwane. We have to Inquisition. Problem is, if we Inquisition, we still can't play anything next turn. But yeah, I think we have to. Inquisition, Force Negation, Lord, and Trickster. Well, take the Master of the Pearl Trident past the turn. I mean, if our opponent hits us with Mutavault and Silvergill, then we can just play a Death Shadow. Seagram Coast. Opponent might be too afraid to fire it up. Unsettled Mana. Okay. So that does slow down our removal a bit. Opponent hits us down to 14. Well, I mean, eventually we're going to start playing big things. I wonder if our opponent would counter Plunge into Darkness. Hex Parasite. Play Hex Parasite. go down to 12. So we can play a Death Shadow and pass the turn. So we know there's a Trickster that can tap us down. As it is, though, our opponent can't really attack without Trickstering. Okay, Master of the Pearl Trident. Well, if our opponent ever gets Island Walk, then life is very bad. Well, could our Death Shadow kill it? So Death Shadow up to a 5/5. Kill Silvergill. All right, we draw a Swamp. Well, I guess we just Shadow Mortality. I mean, we probably gotta, can we start getting in damage? Yeah, get in with Death Shadow. We need to pressure. We need to pressure. Opponent going to take 5. We drop to 15. So opponent can, I mean, Island Walk is really, really bad. They can Trickster attack, but we can cash in the Hex Parasite to block at some point. Okay, Lady Ether Vial, that doesn't do anything. I mean, they're gonna have to Trickster sooner or later. Opponent passes. Well, we'll play a Spellskite. Here comes the Trickster. Yep. I assume they just tap Shadow Mortality, but I guess we'll see. We don't really want to spend life at the moment. Yeah, tap Shadow Mortality. Go to combat, attack. Opponent takes it. So we know the last card's Forced Negation, so our opponent doesn't have anything relevant in hand at the moment. Takes up the Vial. Oh, come on, no Island Walk. No Island Walk. I don't think our opponent can be too aggressive or they just risk dying on the backswing. They need to have some amount of blockers. This deck plays really interesting games. Either we just like snowball our opponent and win super easy, or we end up playing these really interesting games. Opponent goes to combat. No attacks. Well, play a Swamp. Go to combat. Attack, attack. Okay, Mutavault, sure. Okay, this is fine. Fine-ish. There might have been some argument to just going for it there and spending enough life to... we probably... They would have had to have exactly Path. Yeah, I think that was probably a punt. Since I didn't block the Death Shadow, we probably should have just went to like 1 or 2 and tried to win right there. Opponent plays a land. Sevulin. Indestructible's annoying, isn't it? Opponent. Yeah, that might be a problem. So we know our opponent's last card. So I think we plunge into darkness, spend a bit of life, go to 5. Dismember's pretty good. Take Dismember. Ooh, another Death Shadow too. Well, Dismember. Are we going to 1? I think we're going to 1. I mean, the other option is just pay 3 and then Death Shadow. I like leaving up this plunge into darkness because that gives us a way we can gain some life if we're about to die. So kill Sevulin. Get in with our Death Shadows. Opponent has to block and block. So we're going to be down to one creature. They can't take the damage from either. And then if something goes horribly wrong and our opponent finds a way to like Island Walk in, we can plunge away a Spellskite or something to stay out of the danger zone. So I think we could have won like 3 turns ago if we were more aggressive, but I think that... Is there any way we lose here? Another Lord. Yeah, all right, so pass. We're going to leave up the plunge. I don't think there's a way we can lose, but you never know. Leaving up the option to gain a bit of life seems worth it. Well, 1 life right where we want to be. Opponent, combat. Passes. Well, we untap. Go to combat. I guess do they top deck Trickster? Trickster is actually like kind of good for our opponent here. Good enough. Wow, that is like exactly the merfolk that does things. So taps down the Death Shadow. Oh, get in with Shadow Mortality. Opponent has to block. Can't afford to use Spellskite because we're so low on life. I guess, yeah, they still have the Force Negation too. I am a little annoyed by this Ether Vial. Yeah, pass. Upkeep, Ether Vial. Let our opponent make their choice. They leave it on 2. Hex Parasite. Remove a counter so we don't have to deal with those shenanigans. So now we don't got to worry about a Trickster or a Lord, unless our opponent casts it. And if they cast it, that's fine because we can plunge into darkness. Well, that was a little sloppy. But the deck is so powerful, it can overcome a little bit of sloppiness, apparently. Well, I think we Ratchet Bombs and Infernal Grasps. Duress definitely going down. Inquisition's like, okay. Maybe just Street Race. And go down the Street Race. I will say, if you decide to play this deck, Street Race is a really easy card to sideboard out. You like never would sideboard, very rarely sideboard it out in like Grixis Death Shadow or something. But in Grixis Death Shadow, your whole game plan is to use fetches, use shocks, use Street Wraith to like get your life down little by little. That is not our plan. That is not our plan at all. Our plan is do it all at once with one card. So it is like a really easy card if you have something that's more relevant in the matchup to cut. Well, opponent's on the play. Can we take down Merfolk with our opponent being on the play? Well, I like their amount of removal in this hand. That's nice against Merfolk. Not a super fast Death Shadow, but we can plunge to lose some life or just removal spell. Oh, there's a Hex Parasite. Yeah, let's Inquisition first. Chalice of the Void, double Lord of Atlantis, double Silvergill. Golly. I mean, I think we got to take Chalice, unfortunately. So our opponent's going to be able to start Silvergilling. It's going to be interesting. Our removal is going to have to really do some work here. Mutavault, and Silvergill got draw a card. Oh, God. Well, now we're probably dead. That is very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate that our opponent drew, that they drew the Chalice immediate. Wow. Yeah, I guess it's our time to lose. The Magic Gods have declared. Yeah. Nothing like your opponent drawing the card you thought sees. The opponent gonna do their merfolky things, and I'm honestly not sure if there's a way we can win this game now. 9 cards deep. These are not the cards we need to hit. Well, actually, Ratchet Bomb works, right? We can Ratchet Bomb away the Chalice. Yeah, I guess that's the plan. So get a Ratchet Bomb. Play the Swamp. Ratchet Bomb. Get rid of the Chalice. Death Shadow. Go. Well, I'm still not sure that this will be enough, but that Ratchet Bomb does let us cast spells. And casting spells is usually the first step towards winning games of Magic. In my experience, if you're looking for words of wisdom, casting spells equal good opponent. Lord of Atlantis. So this is going to be another one of those games where if our opponent actually gets Island Walk, it's going to be a blowout. Opponent gets and hits us. This does grow the Death Shadow, which is nice. Down to 8. I'll play the Swamp. Kill the Lord of Atlantis. Go to combat. Hit our opponent for 7. Hex Parasite. Go. Wow, subtlety, okay. Sure. We no longer need that. So opponent pitches a Silvergill. Does this mean we're dead? I think we're dead to a land. Lord of Atlantis. Opponent goes to combat. Opponent. Wow, we're 1 point of damage away. Did we misplay? Did we need... Well, I guess we didn't really have a way to lose the life. Let's see what we draw. We need something. Not a land. That's a land. I'll go to combat attack. Yeah, I mean, I think we got to keep attacking. They were pretty safe to attack, I think, because they're at 13. And we can't make our Death Shadow bigger than a 13-13. And that would require us being at 0, which we can't really do. Wow, they're going to block? Interesting. Opponent untaps. Silvergill down. We could use like 1 more Death Shadow. 1 more Death Shadow would be super helpful. Master of the Pearl Trident. Goes to combat. Attacks. Well, I mean, kill it. Opponent passes. Action, please. All right, go to combat attack. If we're gonna flood, we really want to flood into a Castle Lochwain. Opponent. Yeah, we've drawn a lot of our 20 lands. All right, opponent has drawn many lords. Goes to combat. Okay, if we draw a removal spell, we win. It's that simple. Removal spell, we win the game. Come on, deck. Pay us off after drawing all these lands, please. Scourge of the Skyclaves. Yeah, this means we're dead. And does it? So go to combat, attack our opponent. It doesn't mean we're dead for sure, because our opponent has to block with this Lord, or they die. And then we play Scourge of the Skyclaves, which is huge. And then we pass the turn. So this Lord's only a 2/2. If they play another Lord, we block. If they fire at Mutavault, we block, we go to 1. Is there a chance that we're actually... This has been such an awkward draw for our deck, too. We got Chalice and everything. Is there a chance we're still going to win this? Wow, scoops it up. I mean, this deck's been absurd. Apparently, you just play all the Death Shadows. Okay, that was surprising. That was surprising. Punted a little in game 1, game 2. That went really bad at the start. We thought, well, Inquisition, no Thoughtseize or a budget deck. We Inquisition the Chalice. They immediately drew what we Thoughtseized, and then we managed to get our way out of it with a Ratchet Bomb and somehow stabilize our opponent having the subtlety and like a million lords. Maybe 12 Shadows, a real thing. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Budget Magic time. We are playing some 12 Shadow in Modern, and this hand's a little light on shadows. None of the 12. Ooh, okay, this we can keep. This we can keep. We probably just put Scourge to the bottom. Scourge requires our opponent losing life. Let's put Scourge to the bottom. So I think what we want to do, unless we draw something, we can Spellskite, and then we can cycle a Street Wraith to activate Spellskite to play Shadow. Opponent doing some mulligan. Oh boy, are they at 4? Water Grave, tapped. Well, 4 is not a huge number of cards. Schwamp, go. Opponent untaps. Urza's Saga. Some sort of artifact pile, probably. Oh, it's a cookbook deck. Okay. Yep. Well, we will see. And there's, well, I mean, this is a pretty good 3-card hand. We probably don't want to face constructs. Oh god, I think we have to do it this way. Hex Parasite. Remove a counter. Yeah, pass the turn. About it. Hex Parasite's like, it's a little expensive, but it does keep us from facing big constructs. About it. So, well, we know what our opponent's doing then. Keep making food. Thankfully, they have nothing to Emery at the moment. And then, I mean, I guess we get down Shadow Mortality and hope for the best. About it. Passes. Ooh, another Shadow. All right, well, play the Swamp. Remove the counter. Well, now we just lose some life. I guess we might as well cycle this Street Wraith. See what we hit. Down to 12. Ooh, Dismember. Well, that's probably got to wait a turn. They have nothing in their graveyard anyway. Down to 8. And one more. Down to 6. And, all right, Shadow 1. Shadow of Mortality. Yeah, we don't really want to lose this Hex Parasite. Removing counters from this Saga actually seems relevant. Sex Food gains life. Oh, they didn't do their discard thing. Couldn't they have discarded and made a food and whatnot? About it, Hallowed Fountain. Passes. Urza Saga up to 3 instances of tap to add a mana. So, well, same plan. Actually, we don't really want to lose life here, do we? I don't think so. So, remove the counter. We're just not going to let these constructs happen. That is our goal. Hit you with the Shadow Immortality. Shadow Immortality is not bad. It's not as good as literal Death Shadow, but in this deck, it's actually been kind of impressive. I was skeptical if it was going to be good enough, but well, get in there. Opponent takes it. Well, Castle Lockwade. Shadow number 2. Pass the turn. All right, opponent. What is this? Oh, all right. Daredevil, get it back. Yep. I mean, at some point, what our opponent can do, which might be this turn, is they can crack the cookbook to get back Asmore and then Emery back the cookbook. They're like a land away from that. So at some point, we are going to have to actually kill the Emery, I think. Mishra's Bauble. That also makes Emery a little better. Cracks the Bauble, takes peek. Yeah, so now we got to kill the Emery. Gets back the Bauble. So here comes the card draw for days. Yeah, so opponent's going to refuel. Let's do it before they draw, I think. Get rid of the Emery. Opponent gets to draw a bunch of cards. Now go to combat. Hit you a bit. Remove the counter. It's not happening. There will be no constructs on our watch. Opponent takes 15. We pass the turn. Correct. This food is kind of keeping our opponent alive. It's giving him a chance at least. All right, opponent's got an opponent, bunch of cards in hand, not enough. All right, well. The power of Hex Parasite, apparently. What do we do about this deck? Ratchet Bombs and maybe Nile Spell Bombs? Is the Graveyard Hate worth it? Well, we can go down the Street Wraiths, that's for sure. Go down the Street Wraiths, maybe go on like a Spellskite, and you know what sketchy is? Maybe we can't go the full 12 Death Shadows because our opponent has all this life gain. Yeah, let's go down a Scourge of the Skyclaves. Try it like that. Bring in the Spell Bombs, bring in Infernal Grasp. Ratchet Bomb seems fine. And get rid of all the 0 mana stuff, like Asmore. Can also get rid of... Sounds risky. We're gonna keep it on the draw, I think. Plunge into Darkness could solve a lot of our problems. Like, we really only need 1 land, and then we can plunge to hit whatever and lose a bunch of life. And we got our sideboard cards. We'll see. I don't know how good our sideboard cards are in this matchup, but we do have them. Like, you bring them in because you want to draw them, so maybe that'll be good. All right, opponent only going to 6 this game, a relatively robust 6-card opener compared to last game. Out Swamp, and I guess we got a Nile Spellbomb since we are maybe missing lands. I don't want to just crack Nile Spellbomb to draw a card, but do what you got to do. All right, Prismatic Ending. Well, we don't have the option anyway. Watery Grave tapped. All right, deck. Land. Please, a land. Duress. Well, all right, Duress you. Opponent's like a cookbook away from really doing things. But it untaps. And we are... they get to Emery. Yeah, this is bad. Bad news. Emery just gets to replay their stuff from the graveyard anyway. Mills some cards. There's a bobble. We needed that graveyard hate. Yep. Well... This might be the instance of 1 land, 1 keep failing us brutally. Oh, and they draw a bobble. All right, so opponent's gonna draw all the cards. Wow, gonna get back Time Sieve. Interesting. That's a ways away from going off, right? Cracks a bobble, draws a card. All right, deck. Can we please draw land, please? Pretty please. All right, we do draw a land. We'll play the land. Go to combat, hit ya. To 17, but now what? Opponent gets to keep bobbling. We lose a bunch of life and play a shadow. Does that do anything? We know 2 of our opponent's cards. We could also plunge for something. Ratchet Bomb. Yeah, I think we pass and plunge, actually. I think this is our best bet. We're kind of in a tough spot because it took us a while to get land number 2. Ooh, Unearth Asmore. Yeah, this is going to make things real bad. Because now Asmore gets the cookbook, and this starts the loop. And, oh, it's pretty close to going infinite. Their choices make a lot of sense now that they have the Asmore going. There's the bobble. And we just don't really have a way to stop this. Like Ratchet Bomb, kind of, but it's so slow. Oh, we're going to do some plunging. Plunge into Darkness. I think we just go to 7. I feel like we're in such a sketchy spot. Let's go to 7. So we know they can do the cookbook loop now. Dismember, Death Shadow to any of these cards. Oh, they're gonna start taking extra turns. Does any of this stuff do anything? Like, we can play a Death Shadow, but does that even matter? Does the graveyard hate matter? Does anything matter? It's all meaningless. Graveyard hate would have been good in the past, but I think it's too slow now. Yeah, we've just been so slow we haven't been able to get a threat down. And now there's like a million things that we need to kill. Well, I mean, take the Nile Spellbomb. Untap. Opponent gets to draw a card. Spellskite. Well, play Nile Spellbomb. I mean, I guess we passed the turn. I think we're just dying, though. Well, good news is we're going to be on the play for game 3, which should help. So we can Spellbomb now, but then our opponent gets to do the loop. Yeah. I mean, I think we're just fighting a battle that can't be won. All right, Nile Spellbomb. Draw the card. Infernal Grasp, not a land. Nuke the graveyard. But we should be dead, right? Cookbook. This is a 3/3. Okay, manufacturer, sure. So now our opponent, now they get extra turns and we're literally dead to the extra turns. All right. Well, I think we know what we need to do. We know what we need to do. Whether or not we can do it, whether or not we can actually do it, then I'm not so sure. Maybe we bring in another Infernal Grasp and go down the Duress. They can get back so many of their important pieces from the graveyard. If there's a downside to being mono black, it's that we aren't very good at killing artifacts. That is not our strong suit. So I think we need to have a fast start. Ratchet Bomb, I guess, can kind of do it in a very slow way. So no clock, but a lot of hate. I think we keep. We'll see if this is good enough or not. Double Nile Spellbomb, a removal spell, a Ratchet Bomb, and if we ever find a way to lose life, we can get down the Shadow. Maybe. Opponent, Urza Saga. Unfortunately, we don't have a way to actually just stop that. All right, a handful of Mishra's Baubles. Opponent's gonna do a bunch of redrawing. Oh, no, might not have colored mana though. Cracks a bobble and passes. And we draw another swamp. And Nile Spellbomb go. Opponent cracks the bobble. Not sure what we do with this Ratchet Bomb. We might need it to kill constructs. Ottawa. Ledger Shredder. I mean, we probably should kill the Ledger Shredder. So kill Ledger Shredder, lose a bit of life. Untap. More Dismembers. Won't play Ratchet Bomb. At some point, we might have to crack a Nile Spellbomb here. So opponent's going to lose a Saga, which is good. They get an artifact. Maybe we have to tick up to, One is awkward though, because one is gonna blow up our Nile spell bombs. We need to find a way to get the shadow down. That's what we really need. We need a threat. We need to be able to start attacking. Because eventually our opponent's gonna set up that loop that we saw last game, where they just, if they can get like 3 or 4 pieces on the battlefield, it just becomes, I think, literally unbeatable. So there's a cookbook. Cookbook can do its shenanigans. Another Urza Saga, unfortunately. Okay. Powerful card. Yeah, I mean, I think we gotta crack a spell bomb because we need to get some action going. Like, we're not gonna win by not having a threat. All right, Inquisition. I guess that sort of maybe does something. Inquisition you. Literally a million times, Ivs. Opponent's hand's not very good. Neither is ours, I guess, but Bone Shards can kill a shadow. Yeah, take the Bone Shards. Play another Spell Bomb. Who actually gets a threat going first? A lot of artifacts not doing much at the moment. Okay, opponent makes a food. Doesn't discard anything of note. If our opponent hits a land here, it becomes a little scary. All right, not a land. Oh, we need a way to lose some life. All right, Swamp. That is not a way to lose some life past the turn. Opponent sacks the food. All right, Urza Saga goes away. I mean, maybe we should be ticking up. Yeah, I think we're going to tick up the Ratchet Bomb, Watery Grave, untapped. Okay, well, crack the Nile Spell Bomb. Draw a card. There's a plunge. That's nice. Nuke the graveyard. Okay, Asmore. To get another cookbook, do they play the cookbook? They do. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, this is fine. Sure. So that's an extra turn, but they don't really have a ton of things to do with it. I guess they can take 2 turns in a row during our turn, which is awkward. Well, let's plunge. Down to 7. 9 cards deep. So opponent's hand is what? Prismatic Ending in an unknown card? Prismatic Ending in an unknown card. Yeah, take Inquisition. Pick up Ratchet Bomb. Dismember Asmore down to 3. Untap. Inquisition you. Oh, that's right. There's another time sieve. Well, we will take Prismatic Ending. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, Nile Spell Bomb. Sack Ratchet Bomb. See if our opponent... Oh, they just let it go. All right, that's fine. Yes, draw a card. It's a land. Exile your graveyard. Shadow Mortality, and that's what we got. Not gonna be Prismatic Ending that. All right, what do you find opponent? Opponent untaps. We had to do that weird timing because we needed to get the trigger on the stack for exiling the graveyard first. Another swamp. Before we blew the Ratchet Bomb, so we could do both things. I mean, we have a 3-turn clock. Cycles Unearth. We can kill a creature if they draw one. All right, another Nile Spell Bomb. I guess that's not bad to have for the future. And we got the GGs. Undefeated Champions of Modern. 12 Shadow was kind of insane. So on one hand, yes, it's a Death Shadow deck. On the other hand, other than it being Death Shadow and trying to lose life, this is not anything like the tier Shadow decks. And it's only $100, and it's got all the shadows, and we just kind of crushed everyone with this deck. So apparently we stumbled upon a good one. Put all the Death Shadows together, go all in on it with the ways to mass lose life, and apparently win all the games. Well, that was sweet. That was super sweet. Sweet, sweet. So what do we learn this week about 12 Shadow in Modern? And the deck kinda crushed it. We went 5-0 with 12 Shadow, and the deck actually just like felt shockingly great, to the point where as I was playing it, I was like, why does anyone do this? Like, why is this not a thing that people do? We got to see this deck just be absolutely amazing. And remember, this is the budget build. We have some budget choices here. We're playing Inquisitions and Duresses over Thoughtseize or so forth. So there are some places where the budget does actually impact our deck building, but really the deck felt super powerful. We got to see multiple times the like turn 1 Hex Parasite, lose a bunch of life, untap, play multiple Death Shadows on turn 2. We had multiple turn 3 kills with this deck from lines like that. We got to see Huge Scourge of the Skyglaives. We got to see Shadow Immortality actually be really good. This was a card that I was a little skeptical of in Death Shadow builds. And honestly, if you're a non-budget 3-color build and you play all the Modern Horizon stuff, maybe you don't need it. But in a deck like this, it was really, really good. Sure, it's only a 7/7 no matter what we do, but a 7/7 on turn 2 is still really big, and it like oddly dodges a lot of removal. You can't really Prismatic Ending it, you can't Fatal Push it, so it is really hard for a lot of decks to kill. So the deck just, it worked great. Cast some discard spells, lose a huge chunk of life, plunge into darkness was insane. It was finding our Death Shadows, it was setting our life total, and we never really got punished for going low on life. Like, the deck is powerful enough and the creatures just are so big and come out so fast that it felt like we could go down to 7 life. We went down to 1. There was a game where we literally went down to 1 life on turn 2 and ended up winning as a result. So we never really got punished for that. I'm sure there'll be a time when we run into burn or something and it's going to be a little bit challenging. But in those matchups, I think we just try not to lose life and let our opponent damage us and then play our Death Shadows and win that way. So I gotta say, 12 Shadow, I think this deck might actually be pretty good. Like, I'm sure it's good for a budget deck because we just kind of killed everyone with it. But I actually think something along these lines, maybe with some non-budget upgrades, maybe this could be a pretty legitimate archetype in Modern, because we were just like super fast, super consistent, and the deck felt really powerful. So anyway, that's 12 Shadow, 5-0 with all the Death Shadows in Modern. That's been our budget magic for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.